Hey there guys, I'm Melting here, and today I have another exciting project with my friends BakaShift and BizarreJelly5. Say hello guys.
Yeah, you do. Hello.
Yeah, we're doing the third part in a series which you should have been watching already, and you can already see the first two videos of up on BakaShift's channel if you're on the first video, and on BizarreJelly5's channel for the second part. This is the third part where we're talking about all the really exciting stuff like sequels and OVAs and movies. Well, movie, singular. We're only talking about one movie, but we should probably get into it, and we will start with Breakblade. And I'm pretty sure BakaShift wants to tell you about this one because, well, he's only just talked about it all the time because he's excited about it. Didn't you?
Yeah, man. You see this here, what I'm holding up, but you guys can't see.
Ah,
This is
yeah.
Broken Blade. This is the these are the films, yeah. So a while ago, 6 films came out under the name Broken Blade. They were potentially the most beautiful thing production IG have ever done. One of the most incredible. They did. The second most beautiful thing production IG have ever done. It's just so good, you know.
Yeah.
Basically, it's just this incredibly good mecha series that's very normal in a way. It's very kind of typical, but it's kind of like that cliched kind of mecha dynamic done down to a perfected art. And it ended, and I wanted more of it. And this isn't more, per se. This is the same thing again. So it's 12 film, the 6 films rather, now being changed one for one into 12 episodes. And for the most part, it's supposedly just kind of retooled and rehashed the same thing again, with some different scenes, which almost makes it seem pointless. But hopefully, what they're going to do is instead of just one for oneing it again, which would basically be literally no point in doing that, apart from like maybe building hype to kind of test the waters. What I'm hoping for is because the 6 films, the only thing that differed them from the manga was the ending, in which it was an anime exclusive ending. So what I'm hoping with this is because Broken Blade, whilst not being overly popular, it was very well loved by the people who have seen it. And hopefully all I'm wanting out of this is that they, instead of ending it as they did the series, is if they just take the ending, make it manga accurate, and then we'll get a season 2 soon.
Ooh.
Yeah.
And that's all I want out of it. But if it is just the series, just the films again,
Yeah.
In a different way of showing it to people, I'm not going to say it's the worst idea just because it's going to mean more people are going to watch it being a TV series. And more people get into it, so maybe they would then eventually make a continuation down the line. But I want them to carry on from where they left off, because I have nothing but good things to say about the first series of Breakblade. It was incredibly fucking good.
Cool.
And there's not much more to say about it other than that. Other than it is going to be the same again, so I can't really say this is what I expect, because we kind of know what to expect. I just want the ending to be different, and then they can carry on, because if not, it is almost pointless.
Sounds like we should save the date for that. And speaking of dates, let's go on to Date A Live, 2nd season. And I haven't actually seen Date A Live. I know nothing about it, but I imagine it involves dates and being live.
It does.
Probably idols in some way.
Date A Live is basically, think like World God Only Knows,
Ah, yeah.
but with like these weird alien women that fall from the sky, and he has to date them to stop them from like killing everyone.
Ah.
That sounds awesome.
That sounds horrible.
It's not as good as it
for
sounds.
the people underneath.
Surprisingly, it's entertaining, and I was fairly surprised to see it got a 2nd season, because I didn't think it was all that popular. And I wouldn't say, as a matter of priority, go out and watch the first season so you can watch season 2. But I'm definitely going to be watching season 2, because whilst I didn't think the first season of Date A Live was all that great, it was certainly entertaining, to say the least.
Is it another
Yeah.
amnesia? Is this
BakaShift likes women falling from the sky.
A little bit. It's a Mecha Musume show. I eat up Mecha Musume shows, they're great.
I like the character designs of this one. I've not seen the first season, but I've seen like the Nendoroids and stuff, and the character
Yeah,
designs are so good.
Shout outs to
Yeah.
Starshoot.
So yeah, I kind of want to watch it.
It does look nice. It's got a good design to it.
Is that all
But
we want to
that's
say
about all I
about
have to say about Data Life. I mean,
think
I put it
so.
on the list just to kind of mention that I'll be watching it and saying that it's a worthwhile thing, but I don't have a huge amount to say about it.
Cool.
Well, now that we're at the end of that tale, let's get on to Fairy Tale.
Way.
You're really
Yay!
nailing these fucking
I've
transitions
been
today, man.
practicing in
You
secret.
are the segue maestro.
I have
So
to.
did anyone watch original series Fairy Tail?
I have.
I-
I've watched not as much of it as I'd be watching this straight away, but this looks like it's a reboot anyway. I don't get why they're doing a
I'm really
reboot.
confused about why.
Wait, surely it's not a reboot. Surely it's a continuation.
It says on AniChart, the 2014 reboot of Fairy Tale, set in an imaginary. It just pretty much retells the story.
Surely
So-
not.
I
Did
thought
they
it was
just
a
really
new
want to
season.
recast Aya Hirano that badly?
Oh god, imagine that.
Like, I didn't mind Fairy
Sure.
Tale. The one thing that really bothers me
No.
about it is they have arcs, but every single problem that comes up at the beginning of that arc is solved by the end of it. There's no overarching mystery, really.
So it's kind of like bloated episodicness.
Yeah, like it's really good, but then it feels like they wasted a bit of a trick doing more on that. Like they'll have some big villain who probably did something really bad to one of the characters in their past, and by the end of that, that's all figured out. There's no like ending resentment or anything. It's just like, all right, I'm over it now.
Sounds weird.
It
Yeah,
is weird.
I find it really strange that they would reboot it because surely I swear like what I was under the impression of is they ended the first series just so they didn't just so as to avoid going like right it's time for like fucking 8 months of filler or something like busting out a Naruto. And just like yeah instead let's put it on hold and then pick it up again. I'm assuming that's what this was because I mean
Yeah.
obviously there's tons and tons of manga left to adapt unless what like was the first series full of filler?
I wouldn't say it was full of filler. It was all right. It didn't go off into like I haven't read the manga, but I knew there is a set point in the manga where they have a point where they could stop if they adapted it all into an anime.
Mm.
And then there's a point after that where they do a proper second series, sort of like they did in Naruto, how they had the Shippuden.
Yeah. Because all I could say is like, unless if it is actually a reboot starting from the beginning, if it's going to be like kind of a Dragon Ball Kai style thing, where they're just going to try and like perfect it and make it like a more true adaptation. But if there's not a whole lot of filler to begin with,
Yeah.
that seems kind of unnecessary.
Well, it's really soon as well. Like it wasn't that long
Yeah.
ago that it originally came
Yeah,
out.
it was literally this like mid last year that it stopped airing.
Though that could just be the way we're reading it on AniChart.
Yeah, I'm assuming it's picking up where it left off. I think it makes no sense otherwise. But I mean, either way, it's got the word fairy and the word tail on it, so it's going to sell regardless.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
It's like irresponsibly popular.
There is
know
ridiculous
what they do with
amounts
it,
of
they'll make
people with
money.
fairy tale tattoos now.
It's because the characters in Fairy Tail have tattoos.
Yeah,
It's like, look at me, I'm grey. That's
not enough.
all I've got to say about Fairy Tail.
Well, if they
I
do
would
do a
like to watch
reboot,
Fairy
I
Tail
would
at some
say
point.
that would be rather bizarre. And
If they do a reboot, I want to know if they actually still cast Aya Hirano. I'm so curious about that.
what's the whole thing
When
with Aya
Fairy
Hirano?
Tail started, was that before?
Yeah, that was
The-
before.
Okay.
So
Mm. That would be so weird for the fans though.
Yeah,
That's basically the reason why we can't have a Haruhi season 3. Is because Ai Harano cannot be in something by KyoAni again, but you can't recast Haruhi. That just wouldn't work.
they could do another movie. I'd like another movie.
I don't think they will at this
They,
point.
they couldn't though. She's damaged goods now. They can't. She's not going to be in anything high profile ever again.
Oh.
It's a shame that in Japan, if you have a sex life, you're suddenly not marketable
Yeah.
anymore. But
But there was scandal.
there were scandals, and she slept with everyone except the bassist.
That must feel bad to be that bassist. Like, oh.
What's wrong with me? I should make an
The
anime
thing
about
is,
that.
like, maybe
The
he's the one who
bassist.
turned her down. He was like, no, I know where you've been.
That's true.
That-
Anyway.
Yes. I'm going to resume the segue I was making before. That sounds really bizarre. It might even be so bizarre it belongs in Jojos Bizarre Adventure Stardust Crusaders.
Joe Jazz.
Jojaz.
Jo-
It's about a guy who plays the
That's
saxophone
going to
and
be the
likes
next JoJo after
beating
JoJo
up
Leon.
people.
Right, you two haven't seen the first season
Nope.
of JoJo's.
There are so
That's a
many I've
problem.
heard about, and apparently it's wonderful, but I know nothing about Jojos Bizarre anything. There was a
Well,
circus
basically-
before.
JoJo's is this manga by Hirohiko Araki, and it's basically like it's split into these arcs that are connected, kind of like they're in the same universe and they're connected by theme rather than characters, even though there are kind of ongoing characters.
Yeah.
But basically, Stardust Crusaders is just the next arc. So the first JoJo series from 2012 was Phantom Bloods and Battle Tendency, the first two arcs of the JoJo's manga. This is the third arc, and Stardust Crusaders is kind of the breakout, main, big, popular JoJo's kind of property. It's where that whole steamroller thing came from. So we can expect that at some stage. But the first season, I really, really enjoyed, even though I didn't really like the first arc all that much, but the second arc really made it up for me. It looks really weird, like the design's really strange, like how they did it. It's really kind of like garish and horrible, and it doesn't really look that great, but it really works. I mean, David Production, nobody's heard of them for anything really, but they really work well on this, and JoJo's is just, it's so much fun. It's just irresponsibly enjoyable. Like, it's quite ridiculous how entertaining it is for such a ridiculous premise about people doing completely and utterly ridiculous things. It is shonen down to its core, and I love it for that. So there you go.
Cool. I feel like I'm going to have to set aside like a month to discover Jojos Bizarre stuff.
How long was the first season?
It's 25, I think. 25 or 26.
That's not too bad. I might give it a go one day, but I keep saying that about loads of things, and I know I never do it.
Yeah.
I might.
Because you still need to watch Kuroko.
I'm going to at some point in my life.
You need to
As
watch
will
it
I.
today. After we're done recording, you need to both watch Kuroko.
I've got to
And
go
I
watch
need-
Golden Time.
That's only one episode. After Golden Time, you can watch Kuroko. And I need to watch that show that Pat told us to watch last time, Baka and Test.
Baka
That's what I need
Test.
to
Yes. And
I need to
Suritama.
watch
And
Kokoro
many
Pet
other things.
And Suritama. And
And you know what you don't need to watch?
Yes, here we go. Am I saying?
Pat, that was leading. That
Well-
was leading into you, Pat. We're doing a double team.
We've been talking about lots of things which have seasons. How about something that doesn't need a season? Love Live School Idol Project second season. And I've put this purely on the list just to remark on why does this exist? Why did this happen over so many other possibilities? Why would they make something, again, be like, it's like they've already shat it out. Why would they shit it again?
by the way, sorry to that one guy who got really upset about this.
Sorry, Kona.
Username. Thank you.
Kona's so
Yes.
wonderful.
Sorry.
Come back to YouTube.
He did though, didn't he?
He came back for
He came back and did 12 days.
Yeah. He's come back
He's
again.
gone again.
I'll make him watch this and realise he's needed.
He'll just make a video response every time we roast Love Live. Basically, it's a very obvious reason why this has a second season. But the reasoning behind that reason baffles me. That being, Love Live is exceptionally popular. Like, so popular.
There's
It's
Pizza
in the
Hut.
position where it almost seems like it's going to be more popular than IMAS. And that baffles me. Like, it just... Love Live is so bad. It's just awful. It's just atrocious. The dance scenes are done in MMD or something. It's...
There are scenes like that in Wake Up Girls as well.
Yeah,
It's
I've heard about
pretty
them.
bad. It's pretty
I
jarring.
never actually
They'll
watched
have, like,
one.
rooms full of girls all doing like MMD style dancing, and it's like, oh god.
It's just so jarring, and it looks horrible. It's got like 12 characters,
Yes.
and they're all really bad, and the whole point of the first season was like, who of them are going to join the team so they can go to Love
I
Live?
thought the whole
For
point
like,
was
the
that
first
they were
like
trying
10
to
episodes,
save
but
the
you
school.
knew who it was going to be anyway because they were in the opening. And the main character is just a complete moron, and she goes out running in the rain and fails life because of it.
I watched more of
And-
it than I care to mention, and I just remember there were just 8 episodes of this one character refusing to join up, and it was bullshit, because you can see in the opening, they will join up. No character that refuses to join up with an idol group will ever not join up with that group. There is no exception to that rule. If you refuse,
just-
you're pretty much guaranteed to be there, either at the very
There's
end.
basically, yeah, actually no. There's one good thing about Love Live, and that's the following phrase: "Nico Nico Ni," and that was just
You
genius.
beat me to it.
But other than that, horrible.
Yeah.
It's just horrible.
So the question
let's not
is,
spend...
are you gonna watch Love Live second season?
You know what? Usually the question would be yes without fail, but I'm not going to. I'm not going to watch this season 2, even though this franchise was created by the Don, Hajime Yatate, the godfather of the Gundam franchise, the guy who created Mobile Suit Gundam.
Right. He went from Gundam to Idols.
Yeah, he created
Yeah.
one cold-hearted machine, and then he created another cold-hearted machine.
Pat, I
Money
love you.
printing machine.
Yeah.
Yay.
It's just
Let's not spend too much time on
no.
this one,
Let's
because
brush past Love Live for now.
there are wonderful
Anyone who
things.
does like Love Live,
Sorry.
everything we just said was not a personal insult to you. It was a personal insult to the atrocity that is that show.
Sorry.
Moving on to something that is absolutely not an atrocity.
No. And it is a
Something
surprise to
that
see
is,
it on this list, because I did
In
not...
many ways,
Yeah.
essentially a masterpiece.
And it's a follow-up to a masterpiece, so it's just like they've made a lovely painting and now they're going to paint more stuff onto the painting. It's Mushishi. Mushishi? Mushishi.
Mushishi.
Mushishi
Zokusho.
Zokusho, second season.
I'm so excited about this because I have finally watched Mushishi and it's great.
Yeah.
Really good.
And the best thing about it is everyone who was working on the original series is returning. Same studio, same writer, same director, even though they're the same person. And I'm sure there's plenty of the manga to adapt, so it's not going to be going into new territory or
Yeah.
anything. Mushishi is godlike, and it's getting more of it.
Yep.
And
The thing is, like, no one was expecting it. Like, when we got
No.
Mushishi OVA, we were like, oh, awesome.
It feels like they've
That's
been
great.
hiding this, and then they just brought it out and say, hey, guess what we've
it's
got?
just out of nowhere.
This is
Because
for you
when
guys.
did the first Mushishi come out? It was like 2006,
Yeah.
2007,
It
that
was
sort of area.
2007, I think.
That's
Yeah.
almost a decade.
2007. And seven is a lucky number. 2007. You had 7, so that's 2014.
So, if... I don't know why this happened, but everyone was like, what? This was the last thing we were expecting. Now make more Kino's Journey. You're not going to be like, oh, okay.
It's possible. We could do. But, it's just amazing this is getting done. And it's like when they recently announced just like, yeah, Legend of Galactic Heroes is getting a reboot. It's just like,
Yeah.
brilliant. Completely unnecessary. Because the first adaptation was next to flawless.
No, it's necessary because then you can buy the Blu-rays one day.
Yeah. Well, the thing is about the first like Legend of Galactic Heroes, if they're doing it again, it's just basically because the first one's like 80s visually and not accessible to new people who are like, meh, that looks old, or meh, that's really long, meh. So it'd probably make it more accessible to new people, much as they did with like Yamato last year. But forgetting those, Mushishi, it's godlike. If
I
you haven't
can't
seen the
wait.
first season yet, you go and watch the first
If you
season.
haven't seen the first season yet,
Do.
don't worry about it too much.
Oh.
I'm gonna say, watch it at some point for sure. But I don't. It's so episodic. Like
Yeah.
there was no progression in the first series. There was no real story arc. It's just an episodic thing about a guy who goes and helps people.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's not something you're going to sit there and marathon. It's like, it's just something nice to have there on the back. Because it's just like, yeah, I'll watch an episode of Mushishi. And then when you're done, it's like, oh,
It's over now.
now there's more. And watching an episode of this a week is going to be honestly the perfect way to consume it.
Exactly.
Because with a truly episodic series like this, it's not really the best way to watch it. Is not going to be several episodes in one go. But you watch an episode of this a week, you'll be satisfied with that one episode a week. It's not going to be like cliffhanger. It's going to be like, well, I'm assuming this is going to be episodic, much like the first series was. It wouldn't
If
be.
it
It'd be a
does
bit strange
anything
if it wasn't.
too different, it's gonna be weird.
Yeah.
And I think the manga probably carried on that formula.
Yeah. I mean,
so-
if
Yeah. Well, it's gonna...
potentially they could go into something non-episodic later on, but that would be strange. It would break away from it too much.
What
I'm
were you
looking
gonna say,
forward
Pat?
to it. I'm just looking forward to seeing a series which we haven't seen for a while. And
Yeah.
I'm
Yeah.
going to do another segue into another series we haven't seen for a while. though in a different sense. It's in a different way. It's Soul Eater not. And
It's another Bones show.
It is another Bones show.
I've got a Bones.
It's from the Bones studio that made Soul Eater. And others.
Well, look at that.
Oh my god.
They did Soul Eater and Soul Eater not.
We should have Tensei Twister here because he actually knows what Soul Eater not is.
I have only seen the cover of the manga.
It's just it's a spin-off manga about some characters that were in Soul Eater doing things different to what happens in Soul Eater.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's all I can.
It's not
That's
Soul
all I can
Eater,
tell.
so I'm happy because I really like Soul Eater. But I haven't watched Soul Eater in a really long time, so...
And I've never watched Soul Eater.
What?
Really?
Yeah, I've never seen Soul Eater.
How?
Oh. It's just
Because
like one of those shows.
it's just something that I think there was a time when I was almost going to watch it and I didn't.
Oh.
Right,
Recommend
if
it.
I ever see that box set for cheap, I'm gonna buy it, and you're gonna borrow it.
I've got all of it.
Right.
I lent it to
Well, I'll
people to get them
probably
into
buy it for
anime.
myself at some point. I think it's all out on Blu-ray, you know.
Yeah.
It is.
Yeah.
For like 2 years.
That's a good thing to do.
Again, though, it's rare in this country to be like, it's on Blu-ray.
So one interesting thing that got brought up in the J-Taco I did about this chart was that it's possible that this could be something testing the waters to potentially, because obviously the original Soul Eater supposedly didn't had an anime exclusive ending and didn't even almost adapt all of the manga. Supposedly this could be testing the waters, making sure Soul Eater still has a solid fan base, and then doing a Soul Eater Brotherhood, essentially.
It wouldn't even be hard to do another season of it. Like, the way they ended it, they could do more off the back of... Like, they could reintroduce the manga story and just take over from when the anime ended. Like, it wouldn't be that hard.
I think it'd be more likely to do a reboot though.
It's been a long time since Soul Eater,
True.
So I think it'd be strange to do it's not unheard of to do sequels like that.
Mushishi.
Like, well, obviously, yeah. Well, I think like after a very long time, like a good example is something like Hajime no Ippo, and the distance between the seasons of Hajime no Ippo is like 5 years.
I think
5,
though,
6 years either way.
testing it with Soul Eater Not's a bit weird because I don't think anyone even reads the manga that I know.
Yeah.
To Soul
Well,
Eater
it's been
Not.
pretty successful.
Is it?
Well, it's just that it's the same IP, so
But if it's like just a crap spin-off story that no one likes and people don't watch it, does that mean okay, no one likes Soul Eater anymore? I guess.
Maybe.
who knows, man. It's just something I said I thought worth bringing up because I think that is definitely I think it's definitely within the realms of possibility for them to at some stage make a Soul Eater Brotherhood.
I'd like
should
them to,
be
because
good.
I'd really like to rewatch Soul Eater. But I'm not one for rewatching shows very often.
Yeah, especially when I've got so many
And-
shows I
And
haven't
another
watched.
thing is that Bones seems to be shit at reboots, but not good at sequels. Shout outs to Eureka 7AO.
Well, they don't do sequels very often, to be honest.
No.
I think they've done 3 that I can think of.
Yeah.
Because the
Darker Than
second
Black
season of
2.
Darker Than Black went down atrociously.
Aw,
Second season of Eureka 7
I liked it.
is the Antichrist. I'm
Alright.
not sure if they've done any
Well,
others.
it's
Soul Eater Not.
it's a spin-off of a show which, well, 2 of us like a lot. And speaking of spin-offs of shows which 2 of us like quite a lot, Yu-Gi-Oh! Arc
Right, I'm
V.
ready.
Are you ready?
I'm ready.
So, Ebbie and I both
Explain
like
the
Yu-Gi-Oh!
premise to me.
Well, the way I read it is, it's another Yu-Gi-Oh! Story. We have a main character, very spiky hair, crazy. His name has a Y in it, like all the other ones. That's like a thing they have to do. And it's sort of an idol sort of setup. You win competitions by being mega attractive and wonderful, and it seems like they've got... I'm not really sure how to explain it. How did I explain it before? I had a really...
You said it was just like idols playing cards.
Yeah,
pretty much.
idols playing cards.
And I was like, that sounds awesome.
Yeah.
Okay? It's basically
Ebbie
like
is
they went,
100% sold.
you know who hasn't watched Yu-Gi-Oh! Since, like, the original series? Her. What is she like? Let's put that in there. And then they did. I'm gonna watch this. I'm gonna watch this so hard, and I'm gonna drop out after like 10 episodes because I'm
Yeah,
crap. But
just like you did with all the other Yu-Gi-Oh.
Exactly.
Did you watch any of Zexal, by the way?
I watched like 3 episodes of Zexal and was
Yeah.
like, no.
I watched quite a bit of 5Ds, and I want to watch all of it, but it didn't seem too bad.
I'd like to finish
GX
GX at some point. I watched so much of GX and then just stopped.
Yeah. I've watched
I'd
all
like
of the
to watch
original and all of
GX.
GX.
GX was great fun, man.
Yeah.
I'm gonna throw down a face down.
The original one was so good. Like, I legit cried when that finished. It was
Yeah.
the saddest ending to anything ever.
Oh, it was amazing.
It was a bittersweet ending, but it wasn't a good ending.
You know, like how people say it was the soundtrack of their youth? I think Yu-Gi-Oh! Was the anime of my youth.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I watched. Oh, I didn't
Yeah,
watch it a
well,
lot when I
wasn't
was
for
younger,
me,
though.
but-
I came back to it later because I was watching. I think it was Yu-Gi-Oh! Abridged actually, and I was like,
Yeah.
I'm gonna watch all of Yu-Gi-Oh! And I did.
Yeah,
had,
I think
like,
that's
these
what
episodes.
happened. Yu-Gi-Oh! Abridged. It may seem strange for an abridged series to do that, but it really did kick off Yu-Gi-Oh!'s popularity again,
Yu-Gi-Oh!
which is pretty
Abridged
incredible to be
made
honest.
me watch the original
in
series.
the West, obviously.
Yeah.
I didn't expect them to make another Yu-Gi-Oh! For a while after Zexal because
No.
Zexal was vastly unpopular. I don't know a single person who was like, "This is great."
I don't know a single person who watched it. Well, other than I've just found out you watched some of it.
Yeah.
I always like to give Yu-Gi-Oh! Series a chance at least because I've started every one of them and I've only finished one because I was such a big fan of the original series.
Yeah.
Like, I loved that story. Even though they did have these like 5-episode spans where they would play one game and it was incredibly drawn out, I loved it. I loved Yu-Gi-Oh! And I really liked GX and 5Ds actually. I didn't like Zexal, but this sounds like it's right up my alley. So I'm so hype.
Wow.
How would you rate it just based on the appearance of the pro tag?
10 out of 10, must watch.
He's got goggles.
Yeah.
He's like-
Means he's
Goggles are a
Digimon.
selling point.
Twin stuff.
There haven't been... I don't think anyone else has had goggles in Yu-Gi-Oh! So it's like a... It's a crossing of... Two things I
Yu-Gi-Oh!
like.
and
If
Digimon.
anyone
Yeah,
did,
Digimon.
they would have been in 5Ds because
Yeah.
those are suitable for motorbike wear.
They are certainly. They stop bugs from getting in your eyes.
Oh, in Zexal they had a scouter for some reason.
In Zexal, they just like went, oh, what's not good about Yu-Gi-Oh? Let's put all that in there. Pop a flying goop. Fuck off. It's awful.
Was there like a variant on Karibo?
I don't know. I don't think I ever got as far as them playing a card game, to be honest. I was like,
What?
nah.
Were they not playing one in the first episode?
It probably did. I probably blocked it out of my memory.
It's really weird, actually, saying that. I watched the first episode of GX the other day for no reason at all. And it was just Jaden against Crowley.
I do
Crowley,
that.
whatever his name is.
I watched
And
the...
it's just like, my ancient gear golem! And I was like, I remember that voice. This show's fucking brilliant.
I want to watch more GX.
Alright.
Oh, Jaden's so cool. I love that guy's swagger. He's just got so much passion. He's just like, ain't nothing gonna get you down, Jaden.
Nothing at all. Alright. Are you ready for
Wait,
a pretty...
are you watching this? Are you watching this, Pat?
What am I watching?
Yu-Gi-Oh!
Yeah.
You gonna watch it? Yeah.
Kaku
Definitely.
Pasente he is.
Clearly.
Okay, we're good.
It's Yu-Gi-Oh!
I would
I'm
have
ready.
to have a stern telling off.
I'm giving every... I've always given a new Yu-Gi-Oh! Season a chance. And I've liked quite a lot of them,
Yu-Gi-Oh!
but not as much as the first season. And the first season
Thank
was set
you.
a lot of links to Egypt. And Egypt is quite hot and sandy, much like the setting of Magi.
How long have you been cooking up that one?
I was just thinking, oh, how am I going to link this? Oh, Magi's got something to do with Aladdin. Aladdin's got sand.
Yeah, man.
Nothing about Magi, I just know it's about Aladdin somehow.
This is all
Yeah, it
on
is.
BakaShift because I've only seen 4 episodes of the series still.
Maggie is awesome, man.
Yeah.
Maggie is awesome.
Maggie
Well, I've
is
only
a
wa-
character from The Simpsons.
Not an anime, just The Simpsons. But yeah, I haven't seen the second season yet. I'm probably gonna wait until it's done, because unfortunately with me, I find it hard to get in on second seasons of things sometimes,
Yeah.
just because I don't find the time for them. But I'm really looking forward to watching the second season of Maggie, because the first season was just like, I wasn't expecting it to be as good as it was. It was just like, because that kind of setting, that kind
Yeah.
of like fantasy Arabian Nights thing, I didn't think that was going to be my thing at all,
And
but it
then-
ended up being so, and it was really good, and I really enjoyed it. And this is an OVA telling us about Sinbad, who is such a badass character, but like him when he was in his younger days,
Is he-
like kind of like a
Is he sin badass?
he fucking is. I'll happily accept that pun because that was wonderful.
Mhm.
He's got purple hair.
Was your love for like Saudi Arabia and all the sandy ones triggered by Freeze ED?
It was
Definitely
absolutely
was.
like if they had a crossover, that would be just like everything. Like Kokoro would implode. But
Oh my god.
this seems really cool because Sinbad is a seriously awesome character. I
Yeah.
love the guy, and this is like I like this because this is an OVA giving off some of his backstory, and that's the place for it. Like this is he's not the main character. He's kind of within like the top 5 of important characters in the series, and this is the place for a backstory. I think as an OVA because it's just like if you're a fan of it, you want to go and watch this. It's a nice standalone story that doesn't need to be kind of irrelevant like a Hot Spring OVA or something. It's just kind of off to the side and irrelevant of what's going on in the now, but it's kind of relevant to how he got to where he is in the now. And I am really looking forward to watching this.
Cool.
Just because it's definitely relevant and it's something that absolutely belongs in an OVA. And Sinbad is a Sinbadass. And Maggie is awesome. And a character from The Simpsons.
Well, have you got anything to say about this, Ebbie?
Nothing.
You'll totally watch
Well-
it after you've watched season 1 and
I
season 2.
probably will, yeah.
I'm gonna skip straight to the last one because Wild Adapter has completely disappeared off Annie chart, and I don't even know what that
Oh.
one is about.
No, it's there.
Is it?
I'll link you the mal if you want.
Oh, I was gonna skip
let's
mainly
go.
because my battery on my
There you
camera, is running really low. In fact, it's flashing that there's none left. And
Alright, let's skip Wild Adapter. Wild
Yeah.
Adapter is an OVA that Pat wanted to talk about, but he doesn't want to talk about anymore.
No.
Sorry, Wild Adapter.
It looks interesting. It's about things and people, and they're adapting to things. Tamako Love Story, on the other hand, is a movie I wasn't expecting to happen, and that's
Yeah,
mainly
I'm
because
really, really happy with it.
I can't wait.
Why?
What?
Why?
Why can't I wait?
No. I was saying, why weren't you expecting it to pan?
Oh well, I didn't think that it had enough. Like I thought the story would just end. I didn't think there was anything else Tamako could tell us. But apparently they're going to tell us about Tamako's love story, and apparently she's going to
If
fall in
it's
love
not
with
With
to do
Mochizo.
with her neighbour,
Mochizu.
flip tables.
It has to be her and Mochizo.
Mochizo.
It has to be. If it isn't, I will be seriously angry.
I know.
What if it's her
Huh?
and that girl that really likes her but won't admit it?
No.
The blondie.
No. No. This is not Sakura Trick.
What about I think her name was Kana-chan? The one who was really good
What,
at
the-
measuring things? Builder?
Oh, I love Tamako Market, man. If the bird wasn't in it, that series would be
You
great.
didn't like
The
Dera.
boat.
I hated the bird. I couldn't stand it.
That was the entire plot point, so I think
I
everything...
know!
Yeah.
I know!
A bird
It
goes
was
to
like
a
the
market.
entire show, but it ruined it for me. And I think it's really cool that it's actually getting a film because nobody really acclaims Tamako Market. I don't really think nobody really talks about it as being all that great. But the thing is, I think the only reason it's funded to get a film is just because it was like about a shopping district,
Yeah.
and it was a shopping district they were marketing, and that's where they got the money for because it really did like up the footfall in that particular market that they were talking about because that market is real or whatever.
So much mochis was eaten
I'm
after
pretty
the
sure that's
show.
why it's getting a film. And if there's one thing that was missing from Tamako Market that I really wanted, it was romance.
There was none.
Because it really needed that, and I think it really could work well between those two. Because that was some of the small moments they had together were quite frankly adorable.
Yeah.
And if this is an entire film of that, I am on it like a car bonnet.
Alright.
I hope it is. I really hope it is. But I like Tamako Market. It's a very good show. I liked it a lot, at least, so I'm happy.
Alright.
Yeah, man.
Alright, sorry about that cut. My camera ran out of battery, and it will very again
As
soon do that.
we thought was going to happen.
We predicted that, for we are wonderful at that. Anyway, thank you for watching all these videos. There are 3 of them. You should watch all of them if you haven't. And if you're watching this one, you're missing out on 2 wonderful videos, both on Alan, BakaShift, and Ebbie, BizarreJelly5's channel, you should go watch them. We'll link them here, just so you can click on them. And then when you click on them, you'll have a good time, won't you?
Yeah, you
Yeah. Anyway, thank you for joining me, Alan.
Thank you for having me
You
on,
sound weirdly.
Patrick.
No problem. Thank you for joining me, Ebbie.
Thank you for letting me come here again for the third time.
You're always welcome. Both of you are always
Third
welcome.
time's a charm.
Yes.
Well, not always welcome. If we were in
And-
all of your videos, that'd be a bit weird.
I don't know. I could put a picture of
You
you
could
in the
roll with
background.
it.
I've got lots of wall space.
Oh, can you draw me on the whiteboard? Can you do it?
I will.
Can you draw a
I've
dry wipe effigy of BakaShift on the whiteboard?
I don't get no effigy.
I will.
I don't get no effigy.
I will make many effigy.
Oh, bangarang.
No one uses this classroom anymore, so we're getting off topic. Talking about the scenery now. Thank you. I've already said thank you.
You have indeed.
Until next time, I hope all your animes are very seasonal and wonderful. And until then, bye!
Bye.
Bye-bye.